about healthcare options. What are the options for healthcare workers? Noise around healthcare workers, Canada wanting to attract healthcare professionals into the system. What exactly is going on here?
Okay, so right now we have a huge shortage of workers. Some provinces are worse than the others, but we have really bad shortage of workers in Alberta, Ontario, and basically almost all provinces. And this, for Alberta, for example, it's because the pay. For some people, they say yes, the pay is good, but they are overworked, they're stressed out, and Alberta has been reducing the pay for the workers, especially the nurses and all of that. And with COVID,
Oh, yeah.
yes, COVID was terrible for Canada's healthcare sector. Yes, so a lot of the nurses, doctors are stressed, overworked, underpaid. So a lot of them have either retired or, and honestly, this is really sad, but there was like a high rate of suicide or depression, mental health among the healthcare workers, right, during the COVID and all of that.
Yeah,
Yes,
COVID was really a trying time
it
for
was.
almost everybody, and
Everybody.
especially our healthcare workers.
Yes.
People were literally drained,
They
trying
were.
to keep us all safe, right?
Yes. So it's taken a huge toll on Canada's healthcare sector. So right now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get as many people as possible, foreign trained, healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, personal support workers, healthcare aides, nurses aides, just about anybody that can, ease the burden on Canada's immigration system. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the healthcare system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one thing though is this is actually across board. I think Canada is just trying to, like, I think there was just a new release that by year 2025 they're going to bring in 500,000 immigrants yearly.
Yes.
I think right now it's still sitting at 430. That
Yes.
mark.
Yeah.
So there's a push to increase the number of immigrants that are coming, particularly those in the healthcare sector.
Yes.
And I know it's been a concern for most people. They're just wondering, is this real? Is this true? Are we just, no, is it just noise? Or is the government really, really serious about it? What would you say to that?
Yes, the government is 100% serious. What, before or currently, what Canada did was, or has been doing is, we bring in any and everybody. If you're able to qualify under the express entry system, provincial nomination program, basically any pathway to immigrating to Canada, you can come into Canada, right? Via the express entry,
Yeah.
either an NOC 0A, B, and all of that, you can come in.
Yeah.
But then we Canada realized that as much as everybody's coming in, there's certain sectors that still need people, right? There's a shortage. Yes, there are people coming in. We have 400 immigrants coming in every year, but then they're not filling those particular gaps, right? So they need particular people to fill in those gaps. So healthcare sector, the IT sector, truck drivers, and certain other professions are in high demand, and that's what Canada is looking to fill. So yes, it is true.
Okay. So one of the questions, I mean, a lot of people have been coming, asking questions about what can we do, what options do we have to come in, and that's what we've been trying to do on this open mic. Like I said earlier on, this today we're going to be talking majorly, we're going to be focusing on healthcare workers, and like Chloe said, the options are there. Eventually, at some point, we have to talk about truck drivers, right?
Yes.
What you can do, how you can come in, and what options are there for you. But today, our focus is going to be on healthcare workers. And quickly, before we go to the question, there is something somebody asked me during the week that, oh, KDO, you are into integration. What is the relationship between, and I think we addressed this in our last talk, right? What's the relationship between you and Chloe and Manisha?
Yeah.
These guys are regulated immigration consultants. And I'm like, why TSI, the Successful Immigrant Brand, is around helping Canadians, new immigrants settle into the system. You have to come in first before you start to settle, right?
Exactly.
And I have people asking questions, how can we come in? What are the options that are available? And the people that get scared the most are the people in the healthcare sector.
True.
like our doctors, because they are scared that I've been practicing in Nigeria, I've been practicing in India. I don't want to come to Canada and then start driving trucks or be a cab driver.
That is true.
Nobody's saying that. I mean, it's authentic, it's work, but you're in as a professional. The idea is that you practice that profession, right? So that's why we're trying to some clarifications, answer some questions around the concerns that people have, particularly those in the healthcare sector.
Right.
So I think at this point we should just go dive straight into the questions that have been coming in. And if you're watching us live, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. Send your questions on Instagram, on Facebook, through the chat, and then we'll address them as time permits. And then you can still use the open mic form also to be able to ask your questions. So the first question I have here is that if someone has a diploma in health and social care, does such a person stand any opportunity? Like, is there any chance of them being able to come in? Just a diploma in health and social care. What do you say, Chloe?
Yes, you do. So I know that back home in Nigeria and some other countries, a diploma, they see a diploma as not so important, but that's not true. In Canada, especially, diplomas are really great for a pivot in career or a career change. Like you say, for example, I was a lawyer back home in Nigeria, right? I came to Canada and I wasn't really interested in going that pathway anymore. So what I did was I did the diploma in immigration and consultant, right, through CICC, and then I became an immigration consultant. So these are really great options when you want to change a career or just even advance your career.
Absolutely.
Yes. So a diploma in health. She said health.
She said what's it again? Health and social care.
Yes. So it 100% works for Canada. So if you have something like that and you do have experience, then it's a great opportunity to get a job offer or even, go in the express entry pool and then get an ITA to come to Canada. But yes, you can definitely use that diploma and get opportunities for Canada.
But what I'm thinking about, Chloe, though, is if you have just a diploma, how does that rank? By the time you go to the West and then you verify your certification, your result and all of that fun stuff, the equivalence is not going to be, it's not going to be equivalent to a master's, for instance, and then points, you're not going to get a lot of points, right?
Yeah.
So apart from going into the express entry, what other options are there? Like getting a job, is that a thing? Is that even possible for this kind of person?
It is 100% possible.
So how just generally speaking, how would one go about that?
Okay, so first is your resume. You have to send in a killer resume. You have to make the employers want you. So if you say you had really good grades in your diploma, you can use that and then say, oh, I'm a fresh graduate, but then I did so well in this courses. I did so well in this particular field, and I'm valuable because I have fresh knowledge. You just put your best foot forward, right? And then you want those employers to call you back and say, okay, yes, we are interested in moving ahead with you. And if, like I said, if you have the experience, then it's 100% even better, right? So say you have experience, you have the diploma, you're looking at opportunities like the healthcare aides, you're looking at personal support workers, you're looking at nurses' aides too, or social work, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity for job offers. It's just how you present yourself, how you make yourself stand out and look valuable to the employers.
So let's be clear. We're talking about somebody that is right now as we speak. For instance, this question came from Nigeria. This person is still in Nigeria. You're saying get your resume together and start applying to Canada.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because when you do get that job offer, either you come in via the work permit route or you still stay in the pool for express entry. That shoots up your points, right?
Yes. So it's a two-step process, right? So you can say you're in Nigeria, you have to find employers that are open to employing foreign candidates. So you have to get an LMIA and get the closed work permits to work for that employer in Canada. So yes, it is possible. You have that choice, right? Now the thing is, if you get a job offer, it's 50 points, depending 50 or 200 points for the senior management. Yes.
250? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so for the senior management is 200 points, but for just every other job offer is 50 points.
Okay.
So if say you're in the extra January pool and then you have 300 or 350
Yeah.
points, or maybe 450, and then you get a job offer, that's extra 50 points.
Yeah.
That's an ITA with the current pool, right? So these are the options and the things you have to think about when you're thinking about your immigration process to Canada. But job offer, yes, it does help, and it's possible.
So when we're talking about resume, having a killer resume,
Yeah.
oh my God. So guys, I know that some other questions are follow-up questions to this particular question.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna say, guys, is go look for Jody. What's your Instagram handle again?
Jody Immigration.
Jody Immigration. Look for her on Instagram. Ask her direct questions, and then she can help you with getting that killer resume so they can get that job going, right? And then that's an option right there. So and again, like I always say, it's important that you go to the people that know their stuff.
Yes.
And that's why we try as much as possible on open mic to bring people that are actually licensed, they're regulated, and they know what they're talking about. So second question, I would like to ask about the Atlantic Immigration Program, the AIP, as a route for medical doctors getting into Canada. Just generally speaking, what does that entail? Of course, I know, but for the sake of our viewers that are curious about what the Atlantic Immigration Program is, how do you explain that?
Okay, so it's just another stream or process for immigration of foreign candidates to Canada. So if you know, we have the express entry, which is a system for Canadian immigration class.
Yeah.
Canadian experience class, and then the federal. Federal skilled workers, the federal trade workers, right?
Yeah.
So it's all of that. It's a pool, or or a system that takes care of all of those, right? Now for the Atlantic program, is just to fill shortages in Atlantic provinces. So Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and then Prince Edward Island. So yes, so it's just
so those provinces, those are the ones that look into the Atlantic.
Exactly. So it's just to fill labor shortages in those provinces. It's not so different from every other stream. It's tailored for
those
Atlantic. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's you just have to get a job offer. You have there are particular employers that have to meet certain criteria for them to be able to employ foreign candidates to fill those labor shortages. Yes. So that's a process, and healthcare is
okay.
Yeah.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
It says a follow-up question to that. It says how possible is it to move to another province? I'm assuming that this person already knows that it's Nova Scotia, and probably he has friends in Calgary. They want to come to Alberta. So, how long do I have to stay in that province that through which they come in, the Atlantic province, and then before they can move into another province in Canada?
So the thing is, because if you do get a job offer, you get the invitation and all of that, permanent resident via this stream, you are required to remain in that province for at least 2 years. One of the requirements actually for this stream is that you intend to live and work in that province. So even your employer is in that province, right?
Got it.
There's no escaping it. You are going to that province because they brought you in to fill those shortages, right?
So minimum 2 years, you're gonna have to stay.
You have to stay.
Okay,
there.
so guys, there's no going around that. You're not gonna get to Nova Scotia and then the following month you pack your bag and come all the way to Alberta. It's not happening, right? But again, but to be honest, jokes apart, it doesn't take too long for 2 years to come and go.
Oh, it goes so fast.
And the fact that one, you already have your foot in the door. You are in Canada, and this probably is not like they're bad or they're backward or anything.
Yeah.
It's just because sometimes when your friends, your family members are in a different province, we tend to gravitate towards that same province, right? Because we want a familiar face, we want somebody that we know. But honestly, 2 years will come and go. So if this is a choice for you, you want to, take that opportunity and use the Atlantic Immigration Program stream. How many months will the whole process take? So this is a bit of a very interesting one. I think this person is just talking about the express entry because it's not the same person that asked the other question. He's just wondering how long does the process immigrating to Canada, how long does that take?
So I'm not even sure which process they're asking about, but I'll try to answer as
Mhm.
many processes as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's start with the express January.
Entry.
If you were in the express January pool, it would take from ITA. If you get a, I keep saying ITA for my audience that doesn't know what that is invitation to apply for
Mhm.
permanent residence to Canada, right? So from ITA to getting the COPR and landing in Canada and all of that, it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months processing. It's actually one of the fastest processes right now
Yeah.
because the spousal sponsorship, it takes like maybe 2 years,
Okay.
depending on the country you're coming from.
Coming from,
Yes. So for the express entry, it's really one of the fastest, if not the fastest ways to immigrate to Canada. But it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And then for the provincial nominations, and this is interesting because I know that a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually get invitation to apply or even nomination from a province without going through the express entry.
Okay, now let's talk about that.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Because a lot of people, I get people saying, oh yeah, but I have to go through the express entry pool, da 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 da. No.
No.
Like for example, the Atlantic program, right?
Mhm.
You for the express entry pool for federal skilled and all
Yeah.
of that, you have to have like CLB 6 minimum, right?
IELTS, right?
Yes, for the English exam.
Yeah.
But then if you go to the Atlantic, minimum, depending on which NOC you are in, it's either 5 or 4. So
Ooh.
it's lower, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of these provinces make provisions for people to get in, just make it easier
Easier.
for them, yes, to fill in those positions. Because somebody says, oh, I got CLB 5 or CLB 4, I don't qualify under the federal skill,
Yeah.
or I don't have the experience for federal trades, what do I do, right?
Mhm.
You have those options, and then you have to just basically explore them, meet all the requirements, and it gives you that opportunity. But then it's longer. Just to answer the
Okay.
person's
Yeah, the
yes.
duration.
So if you go through the provinces directly, the process is a bit longer. It's give or take 11, 12 plus months
Okay.
of processing, while the express entry is faster. It's just 6 months. So that's the advantage of being in the pool, because you have that process done way faster.
But wow, let's just for clarity.
Yeah.
When you're saying 3 to 6 months, you're saying from ITA, invitation to apply, to
Yes.
when you land, you get your PR, or well, whether you land or not, you get your PR, right?
Yeah.
But what we're saying here is the time it takes you to think about it, I want to immigrate, I want to relocate, and then you go write your exams, all of that is not included.
Oh no. no.
The time it takes you to, so if you know you want to come to Canada, for instance, December next year, this is the time to start planning.
Oh.
April next year, I don't know if you've not written your IELTS exam yet, the English exam, you've not verified your certificate with WES or the other bodies,
Yeah.
it's going to for sure take longer.
Take longer.
But once you are in the pool and you do get the invitation to apply, from that point onwards, and I guess depending on you, because they give you 60 days to respond to that ITA.
ITA, yes.
So it's totally up to you. If you respond in 2 weeks, then your processing time
a
is
week.
yeah, for a week.
I know people that put in like literally the next day. Like, I'm ready.
Just give me the IT and yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. If you want me to come to Canada right now, I'm so super duper ready. Nice. Okay, another question. With the new interest in foreign medical professionals, what are the provisions being made for integration of internationally trained doctors into the medical system in Canada?
This is a good question. I know, so like you said, a lot of people are hesitant. They're afraid of, leaving their country and then coming to Canada and starting all over again. Because no matter how you put it, you're starting all over again. 5 years experience in Nigeria or whatever country you're coming from, and then starting here it's difficult. I wouldn't even lie, but it's possible.
Totally.
Yes, and because there's a shortage of healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, Canada is trying to make it easier for people, for those doctors to come in and assimilate properly into the society.
System, yeah.
Yes. So the first thing is, it's really easy for you to verify your training. So you went to University of Ibadan, good one. And then you have your MBA and all of that. what you need to do is you go on the site. There's a site, you verify your experience, the directory for medical certifications, and then you verify that yes, your license or your MBA or your program from whatever country is recognized in Canada
Okay.
or the world
Yeah,
over. So
over,
that's
yeah.
yes, so that's the first step, right? So once you get that done, you start, looking for opportunities in Canada. You can go in the pool, the express entry pool, and then, try to get the IT and all of that. Now, Ontario, for example, I love talking about Ontario because they have a shortage and they're really trying to make this stuff easier for
Easier, that's the key word here. Like
Yes.
that's what's different from this time last year, 2 years
Yes.
ago. It's now easier.
Yeah, so they're trying to make it a lot easier. So for nurses and doctors in Ontario that are currently already in Ontario, we have over 5,000 plus active, nurses and all of that in Ontario that are unable to practice.
Oh my God, 5,000.
Over
you said?
5,000,
Yeah.
yes. So what Canada or Ontario is doing right now is they are basically letting these nurses for temporarily to register as nurses in Canada, with your license, your experience,
Yeah.
and all of that, and then you are while you're trying to get licensed in Canada, you're already
Practicing.
registered.
Oh.
Yes, so you're practicing. Just you have you're under supervision. You have to write the exam, and this is really interesting. A lot of them are covering the cost of you going through
Are
that
you
license. Yes,
serious?
that's what Ontario is trying to do.
Wow,
Right?
yeah.
Even for the doctors, 12 weeks of supervision and all of that. They're just trying to make it a lot easier for you to integrate into the system.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So there are provisions for that, and then for some people who don't think the licensing process is that easy for them, or they're in Nigeria or any other country, and
yeah.
yes, what you can do is you can come in as maybe a nurse's aide, healthcare worker, healthcare aide, personal support workers, and all of that. You can come with a job offer in any of those sectors, and then when you get to Canada, while you're working, because you
in that
exactly
you
you
know,
go through your licensing process,
absolutely,
right?
and then you begin to practice
and
as a nurse or as a doctor.
exactly, and you have that experience. So there's definitely different options for you to be able to integrate into the society as seamlessly as possible.
Absolutely, guys, and this is why I keep saying that, like, if you have questions, don't just assume that, oh, there are no options. I don't know what to do. There are no pathways. The
Right.
pathways are there. We need to find them. And one of the easy way of finding them is talking to people like Chloe, Jody Immigration, so that they can help you and then demystify the process.
Exactly.
And then based on your individual situation, we can say, okay, this is the best way for you. And that's one of the things that brought me into, immigration integration, the scenery, because I realized that when immigrants come in, we are excited, right? We go through all the process. We get our you write your English exams, you verify your certification. By the time you come in, you almost feel like, what next? Like, if you're not careful, you get lost in the entire system.
Yes.
And before you know it, people get despondent, they get very depressed. And that's where my passion came in, because I just couldn't, talking to people, mentoring people, I realized that most people, they didn't know what next to do. They didn't know what options were available to them, right?
You're right.
But there are options out there. There are provisions out there that once you're in the system, to ensure that because Canada, there is this myth. People believe that they just want professionals to come in, and then so that you can start driving cars. No. They want you to come in as a doctor so that you can practice as a doctor. They want you to come in as a nurse because they need nurses.
Exactly.
Engineers, the same thing, right? But they're just processes, and we need to just, the same way we subjected ourselves to these processes, to write your English exams, to verify your certification, follow those processes and you will be okay, right?
Yes. Yeah. The whole point of Canada's immigration really is that, excuse me, is that we're bringing in people to succeed. It's what we're saying is, in this pool, we have all of these people, and we want the people who have the most opportunities or the most chances of being successful in Canada. So that's the point of it. You're not coming to survive, you're coming to thrive, right? So you have to put in all of those things think about that before you even take the first step, right? So if you're thinking, oh, I have this license, I have this experience in Nigeria, I have this experience in India, or you know, whichever country, you can bring it here and then use. You know, the funny thing about Nigerians is we're so successful wherever we go.
Wherever
We
boy,
are
wherever.
go-getters, right? Every single job I've worked in Canada, I've met at least 2 or 3 Nigerians and they're killing it. So the truth of it is, don't let that fear hold you back that, I'm going to come to Canada, I'm going to drive a cab,
And
or
then
I'm going
sweep floors or whatever.
and even if you do that,
There's
it's
dignity
just,
in labor.
exactly. It's a process.
Yeah, and it's a face.
It's a phase. So you get to where you need to be, right? So that's just something I always encourage people to think about. It's not all scary and everything.
Yeah.
Yes, it
No,
might be,
Well,
but
there are horror tales. You will hear lots and lots of horror
Yeah.
tales, but it's not all horror tales.
exactly.
We have lots and lots of success stories, and that's why I say to people, when you're coming in, find the right audience.
Yes.
Get into the
100%.
right clique, if you
Mhm.
like, to use for the use of the word. You want people that will encourage you, not people that will make you more depressed. Say, oh,
Exactly.
you're coming here, you're going to have to sweep them. No.
Mm.
You're a doctor, you're going to practice as a medical doctor. You're a nurse, you're going to practice as a nurse. Healthcare worker, whatever it is, opportunities abound. We
Mhm.
just need to find them. I think I'm going to take one more question. Let's see.
Okay.
Which one am I going to pick now? Okay. This person is asking, I think you already alluded to that though. What are the pathways for getting in for a fresh foreign trade medical graduate? Like for instance, you just graduated as a medical doctor.
Mhm.
What are the pathways of getting to residency in Canada?
Okay, so still like I said, the licensing. There's nothing you can do without that licensing. So you have to go through the licensing. And for some people, I noticed that it might be difficult to get a job without the experience.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you have experience as a nurse or doctor back home, you can use that to get a job as just any healthcare work, just to get into the door, and then
into the door, yeah.
exactly, and then go through the licensing
Yeah.
process. But then for somebody who doesn't have experience, it's not impossible to get a job offer. There's some employers that go, yes, we know you have the educational qualification,
Yeah.
and we're okay with that, but you don't have experience, and that's fine, right?
So they're going to like train you?
Exactly. So
Oh.
because you do have all of that educational experience, so they're like, you are not starting from zero. So
Absolutely.
so we'll give you that chance, right? So yes, there are not so many of them, but you can get that opportunity, right? Now, another pathway would be to go through the educational study permit route, right? So you've freshly graduated. You can think, okay, what can I do to boost my
Chances?
And if you get a study permit, you come to Canada. There's the Canadian experience route
Right,
for you.
yeah.
Yes, so there are lots of options you can explore. Job offer, study, just anything to get here, really.
Oh, okay.
Did you want to take a couple more questions?
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to slip this in because it was one of the questions too that came in. So what about someone that we talked about the person that had a diploma, we talked about registered nurse, we talked about doctors. What about if all I have is I just there are cases where people actually went to hospitals and then you became a trainee and you got certificate of proficiency maybe after 2 years training, and then I don't know what the cadres are, and then 10 years now you've been in the medical industry and you're working in hospitals as a nurse. Maybe right now you're now after spending 10 years you're a matron in that same hospital, but you don't have like a diploma in health, you don't have a master's, you didn't go to nursing school. What are the options for such a person?
Okay, so I would start by encouraging people like that to find ways to get the healthcare aid certification.
Okay.
It's not that difficult usually. There are a lot of online
okay, so you could take online courses.
But you have to make sure that it's recognized, right?
Oh yeah.
Internationally recognized and recognized by Canada before you take those, right?
Absolutely.
And then you take your CPR, you take your first aid, you take all of those certifications that basically buttress the experience you have. That's one step, right? If you decide not to even do that, but I would 100% encourage you to do that.
Yeah.
But if you decide not to, there are a lot of employers that will be willing to employ people like that because you have the experience.
Yeah.
Even for the expeditionary, you know, the NOC, a lot of the you see the description and it says either ask for educational qualification or if you have the experience, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the experience without the educational qualification, all they're going to check is, have you been doing this every day? Is this part of your daily duties or job description?
Yeah.
Do you do this? And then, you know, you do have provinces that, you know, like Alberta, for example, healthcare aides are regulated. Ontario, they're not.
They're not. Okay.
Yeah, so you have to pick a province that, you know, allows for employing non-regulated healthcare aides or nurses aides and, you know, stuff like that. So those would be more open, more
to accepting people like that.
So you don't have to have that experience.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's a process.
Yeah.
You have to know the system. You have to know what you're doing to be able to get those people that, you know, will let you have that opportunity or that pathway.
Absolutely. So on a final note, I'm gonna still say that what you don't know, you don't know. Because I know a lot of people, they know that, oh yeah, the express entry, oh yeah, if you can't go through the express entry, maybe the provincial nomination, and that's all. Particularly when it comes to the nuances of getting a job, having a killer resume, how can I approach organizations? For instance, somebody that has 10 years experience but no certification.
Right.
Most of them would just assume that all hope is lost. There's no option for me. So what we're saying today is ask the right questions. Talk to qualified, regulated people. And again, I'm going to say, come to Chloe. Jody Immigration is right there on Instagram. The handle is already on the comment section. We have Manisha. She was here with us 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
2M Immigration. These people I can vouch for, and I know that they know their onions. They know the nuances of how to, you know, get this stuff done for you guys. So avail yourself of this opportunity. And on the other side of things is, once you're in, that is where TSI comes in, helping you integrate, helping you get, you know, be in the right circle, prepping you for whatever it is that is ahead of you. How do I get a job? How do I get a house? Where do I stay? What happens to my children? How do I fit into the society, right? All of that we do because we know what it is. We've been there. Exactly. We've been in that shoes. We know, you know, what that entails. So again, that's why I wrote this book, The Successful Immigrant Book, just for you to be able to understand, you know, it's a peep. You've never been to Canada, but what is life in Canada exactly? What should I do? What are the expectations? Like if you think you're going to come to Canada, you're going to have a nanny, a driver, you got something coming on. You got to think about that again. So you want to know so that you're mentally prepared, right? Before, I've had people, somebody read this book and said, okay, Dio, now I'm thinking, do I really want to relocate? Really? Trust me. I'm like, what? Yeah. You're saying, oh my God, I can't get a nanny, I can't get a driver. I mean, my car cannot break. You cannot even break down because you're going to have a good car, right? And then you can't just call up somebody to come and tow your vehicle. You could.
All of those, AA, right?
Exactly. But it's not going to be Mutiu or it's not going to be whatever we have back home, right? I know that sometimes we're so the familiar. You know, we just want to stick with the familiar. We're thinking, oh my God, life on the other side of the divide. How am I going to survive? But we have survived. We'll survive. We're doing well. Beyond surviving, people are thriving. So I encourage you guys, if that is your desire, you really think relocation is it for you, ask the right questions. Look to the right people to help you so that you can have options of what you can do and what you cannot do and what will work depending on your individual circumstance and situation. So ring us up. Ring up Jody Immigration, ring up 2M Immigration, and
sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know a lot of people were expecting Manisha today, but unfortunately she's not too good, so we'll hopefully she'll be
for the next open
for
mic
the next
session,
open
right?
mic.
Yeah,
Yes,
she'll
but,
be with
you know,
us.
she's
But right now she's behind the scene routing for us.
yes.
You go, girls.
Yeah, so we're still hoping that you will have her on the show next time. But you can also reach out to her. Talk to her, talk to me, and
Absolutely.
we can 100% help you with your process.
And then on one other thing before we end this show is, I know people have been come with different questions, right? But if you feel like there's something you want us to talk about on this show, it's for you guys. Let's know, and then we'll bring qualified people, we'll discuss it, and then your questions will be answered. That's why we call it open mic. Open mic, guys.
Yeah.
Whatever your questions, we provide the answers. And I think that's where we're going to draw the curtain on today's episode of Open Mic. Any parting word, Chloe? All good?
I think that's it. I've spoken a lot today.
Oh, okay.
So yes, but I would just encourage everybody, if you want to immigrate to Canada, don't let anybody or anything, discourage you. Do your research, talk to the right people, like she keeps saying. Do your research, talk to people. Don't be discouraged. You have a whole lot of people who have done this before, and they are here. We are here to help you. So don't let the fear of the unknown hold you back, right? Take that step, and as soon as possible, because it's changing.
Yeah.
So
there are no guarantees.
That's my last word for you.
All right, thank you so much, Chloe. We hope Manisha will be able to join us on the next episode. So guys, keep dreaming, keep the hope alive, and keep winning. See you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.